Hi everyone, this is episode 6 of FPL Blackbox, coming to you just at the end of gameweek 17, obviously going into gameweek 18 on Friday night. It's been a while since I did one of these. I've been moving house, so it's all been a bit chaotic. I think the last one I did was just before gameweek 14, so three or four game weeks have passed since my last one. In terms of my own season, things are actually kind of on the up. I think before the last one, I was about 270,000 in the world, and I've got up to 83,000 in that time, sort of quite steadily. No standout game week, just a series of, okay-ish performances from my team. So yeah, reasonably happy with where I am now, going into the kind of hectic Christmas period and New Year. So I think this is going to be quite a short one. Just because I've got loads of other stuff to do, but wanted to come back and start doing these again. So I thought I'd take a bit of time out tonight just to talk about some of the stuff that's going on and my thoughts on how things are progressing with different players and teams and what we can kind of expect looking forward. So the questions I'm seeing a lot at the moment going around Twitter are: is this player essential? Do we need this player? How do we get him in? This week, everyone's talking about Hazard, who got 13 points against Brighton. There's players like Kane, who just got a lucky assist against Burnley. So people are wondering if they need to ditch him. You've got Salah, who last week got a hat-trick, and everyone was saying he's back, and then blanked this week. You've got Aubameyang with amazing fixtures, but just isn't performing. And then you've got the City boys who are rotating and but still scoring, bucket load of points. So, I think you've got those six players, Kane, Salah, Hazard, Aubameyang, Sterling and Sané. They are your kind of main hitters, and I think the vast majority of kind of seasoned and players who are taking this game seriously are going to have at least two of those players in, possibly stretching to three as well. Sané's a little bit cheaper, so he makes quite a relatively easy third one of them to get in. The question is, though, are any of them essential? Not really, because I think out of those six players, any of them are capable of scoring big at any given week. And actually, taking fixtures into account and form, that they're actually all relatively similar, bar Hazard, who has a pretty incredible run, for 5 or 6 game weeks now. So I think if you're talking about essential, Hazard probably comes the closest out of those six, because he's got the fixtures and the form, and he's sort of playing in this new kind of advanced role up front. And if you think back to my last podcast, my plan was to kind of make these switches and change around my heavy hitters to kind of get the ones I wanted in, and I did that to some extent. I got rid of Salah for Sterling, which, I mean, apart from the hat trick, it's gone well. I think I've probably broken about even on that, considering Sterling's goals around the hat trick. I also got rid of Aguero for Kane, which has gone relatively well, but it is disappointing when he doesn't start one of the games and then blanks against Burnley at home. And then my other plan was to get in Aubameyang, and I was talking about him before he went on that crazy goal run against Spurs. And the massive influx of players clamouring to get him put me off him quite a bit. His price just increased so quickly from 10.9 to 11.5, and it felt like to get in, the plan was to get rid of Hazard, but Hazard was kind of ticking along with some nice assists, and so I kind of thought, I was in two minds about it. And after you waited for about a week and he's gone up 0.3, suddenly it's not quite an attractive option as it was. So instead I kept Hazard and went for Lacazette. And Lacazette's been disappointing, but Aubameyang's been disappointing, and Hazard's done really well. So I think I've dodged a bit of a bullet with that for now. There's always the Burnley game coming where Aubameyang could go crazy, but I'm relatively happy with how things have gone at the moment. I think patience is just really key with these players. I don't think you can go chasing points each week. Any of these six players could score heavily, and if you're ripping up your team every week to kind of get them in, then I think you could be missing out on the points going forward. So I personally think you stick to three of these players, kind of throughout the Christmas break, and you pick the ones, based on stats, based on the eye test, based on fixtures that you think are going to do well, and you stick with them, because they're going to be six of the highest scoring players in FPL coming into the season. You just need to catch the right ones. We've had a lot of the season now to kind of decide on who these players are. They've all got their merits, they've all got their weaknesses. If you go down the list, you look at Kane. Sometimes he plays really deep, but he's still getting attacking returns. He's still on 8 or 9 goals for the season. The fixtures are good with Bournemouth at home to come after this tricky Everton game. It's Kane, so you've got to imagine that he's going to start most games, and he's going to he's going to get to 20 goals again this season. I think this is going to be the period where Spurs start to pick up. You look at Salah. The pros are he's got that hat trick. Liverpool top of the league, full of confidence, but apart from that hat trick, his returns haven't been amazing. And the lack of bonus points, and the fact that points are being shared between him and Mane, and even Firmino to some extent, do kind of put me off him a bit. What Salah has got going for him though as well is this new kind of position he finds himself in, where he's basically playing as a striker. So people are going for Richarlison because they think he's an amazing out of position option. But actually, Salah kind of meets that criteria as well. So that does worry me a bit going forward. He's got Wolves on Friday night, and then Newcastle at home, and that Newcastle home is going to be a real, really tricky one for non-owners like me. To not have him for that match. But then he's got 2 quite rough games after that, so I think people are going to be getting him in for the short term for these 2 games. And I think you've got to just hope that the other players can outscore him. Hazard next on the list. I've already talked about him. I think he's the one that I'd want for sure out of the whole lot. It's changed. It just shows how much things can change over 3 or 4 weeks, because there was a time when I was thinking about dropping him. But yeah, I think he's got everything in his locker at the moment to really kick on over the next few weeks. Aubameyang, I can't believe in the last 2 matches he's only registered 1 assist. His statistics are good, and his goal conversion has just dropped so hugely from what it was. It was pretty unsustainable to start with, him scoring every shot he had. But the drop off is absolutely crazy. You've got to think he's going to hit some form soon. What I'm hoping though is Lacazette will come back into the team, and I think Lacazette and Aubameyang playing together, I do think are going to eat each other's points. I don't think if both are starting and both are regular starters, I don't think Aubameyang is worth 2.5 million more than Lacazette, or 2 million, or whatever it is. The issue is that will Lacazette earn kind of Emery's trust back after he's been dropped for the last few matches, hauled off at half time, things like that. And then you've got Sterling and Sané, and obviously you need one of those 2. Sané's got the advantage of being pretty much the only player that can operate on the left, and Sterling has the tendency to rotate a bit more with Mahrez. Sané's also quite a lot cheaper as well. So I think if you have got Sané over Sterling, then I think you can be reasonably happy with how that's gone over the last few weeks. Doubling up with both of them, I think pretty much always assures that you're going to have a Man City attacker in your team. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when Aguero comes back, because Aguero isn't on this list. And I think over Christmas it's a bit risky to get him in because of the injury he's had. But surely he's going to factor in our seasons again soon. So this podcast is called FPL Blackbox, so I guess I should do a bit of analysis over what's been going on over the last few weeks. Things have been going well for me, which is a bit of a rarity this season. Which is actually quite nice for a change. As I said, it's a combination of patience with some players like Hazard. I had a plan in place, but I was flexible in that I decided not to completely go through with it, and to stick with Hazard, who kind of earned his place back in my team by getting a couple of assists over the last few games. I took a -8 a few weeks ago as well, which paid off. I got rid of Martial for Philippe Anderson. I really don't think you can be holding players who are injury doubts over this Christmas break. I've got Kolasinac in my team at the moment. I'm waiting to see what Emery says about him. If he's even a slight doubt, he's going to be out of my team. There's just too many games too quickly to be holding on to players with injury doubts. And as soon as I saw Mourinho saying about Martial, I just thought I've got to drop him. So I've got Felipe Anderson in, who's been absolutely brilliant for me. He's got a goal and 2 assists, I think, in 2 weeks, which has been great. I've got Lacazette as part of that, and Kolasinac, who have all delivered, some some returns for me, so that's gone really well. So it just shows that hits can be a useful tool to use if you're looking to shake your team up a bit and refresh when you really need to. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what's going right for me. My Everton players are doing well. You had that Watford game, and they've got two quite tough games. One tough game, they had City, and now they've got Spurs, and then they've got a really good run again. So be good. I'm just kind of keeping them on the bench and letting them get those fixtures out of the way, and then bringing them back in. I think a lot of people are selling Richarlison, and I think a lot of people are buying Digne now after he got that quite big haul. But I'm hoping all the Richarlison sellers, it comes back to bite them a bit, because I think he missed so many chances against City. It was 2 or 3 quite good chances, but he should be putting those away. And he's got Burnley away, Brighton away, Leicester at home, Bournemouth at home, Southampton away, Huddersfield away. I mean, it's equivalent to the fixtures West Ham have got at the moment. So I'm really happy to keep him and see how he does. I think the kind of issues that I've got at the moment are Brooks and Success, two of my kind of bench players who are kind of in and out of the team. I did say that I wanted bench players who played. Brooks missed out completely in the last game. Success came off the back of playing really well against Everton and only got 13 minutes against Cardiff, so it doesn't look like he's kind of first choice anymore. So it might be that I look to shift some of those out. It leaves only Wan-Bissaka as my own kind of only defender, and Palace are a bit all over the place at the moment. So yeah, I'm reasonably happy with how things have gone. If you'd offered me 83k a few weeks ago, I definitely would have taken it. So yeah, I'm happy. I think what has helped is having that plan. It kind of it made my transfers quite easy to do. I got Sterling in, I got Kane in, and then I think last week I took the -8, but again that was as part of a plan to clear out some of the deadwood in my team. So I think every transfer that you make is really key to have a really clear idea of how you want your structure of your team to be. You've got games coming in quick succession. It can be really tempting to make a quick move and bring someone in for one week. Like I was thinking of getting rid of Kane this week, because he's got Everton away, but then he's got Bournemouth at home, and it's like I want him for that match, so I'm not going to look to get rid of him. So I think that's my biggest bit of advice to you, and also to myself, is to really think about the transfers I'm making, and just see in a few weeks how my team is going to be shaping up and what the structure is going to be, what formation I'm going to be playing, and the fixtures and things like that, and just try and make sure I don't do any kind of moves which are either sideways, costing me hits, or are going to cause me more problems down the line. So this actually ran into kind of normal time. Got a bit carried away there, I think, talking about the players and things, but it's been quite enjoyable to do. My plans for the future, speaking of plans, I don't really know at the moment, and that's why I need to really have a sit down and think about what I want to do, because as I just said, I don't want to make transfers sort of willy-nilly, if you like. So I've got Kolasinac, who's an injury out. I need to wait for some news on him. I've got Lacazette, who's in and out of the team. I've got Brooks and Success, who I'm not too happy with, but everyone else I'm actually reasonably happy with how they're performing and the fixtures they've got coming. I've got 2 free transfers as well. So I'm going to either look to strengthen my bench, move out my injured player, or kind of deal with the Lacazette issue. I think if he starts against Spurs and Aubameyang doesn't, then that's a bit of a worry going into that Burnley game. And actually, I could look to do Lacazette and Brooks to Sané and someone like, I don't know, Chicharito or Danny Ings or someone like that. And again, it depends if Sané starts against Man City. But there's a few kind of options that I can do there. So yeah, it's quite exciting having 2 free transfers. I don't often have them because I'm normally making loads of different transfers, but we'll kind of see how that all goes. Not long until the next game week. I'll be doing the Scoutcast tomorrow, and I'll be doing the FPL show with a special host on Thursday. So make sure you look out for that. And yeah, all the best this week, and enjoy your Christmas, and good luck with the next couple of game weeks. So exciting time, especially Boxing Day. It's my favourite day of the year. Goodbye.